Have you ever imagined like taking your wildest ideas and making them real, and then on top of that, giving like almost all of it away?
Sounds pretty crazy, right?
Well, that's exactly the world of Mr. Beast.
Yeah. How on earth did this young creator not only find a way to explode online, but like totally change what it even means to do good in that world?
It's such a good question. And if you're already thinking, okay, I need to hear this, then you are absolutely in the right spot. Stick with us because in this deep dive, we're going to go behind the scenes and unpack how Mr. Beast did it. The strategies, the mindset that fueled this incredible rise.
This is a wild story.
It is, and we'll even touch on how maybe some of his principles can spark some new thinking in your own world.
Absolutely. And I think it's worth saying right up front, this is way more than just a story about viral videos. I mean, this is like a fascinating look at modern media, at how businesses are being built today, and this very public, very interesting form of philanthropy. I mean, the audacity of it all is really what I find so interesting, and how he's managed to take these like outlandish ideas and turn them into a global phenomenon.
Yeah, and what's so cool is for this deep dive, you shared some fantastic resources with us. We've got information on Beast Philanthropy, which is just amazing. Then this really insightful look at the mechanics of Mr. Beast's success. And we even have some revealing interview snippets and then some news articles that really highlight his impact, everywhere.
The guy is everywhere.
He is. So our mission today is to really break down the Mr. Beast machine. We want to understand what made him so famous, the DNA of his captivating content, what's driving both his business and his charitable giving.
So many moving parts.
There are, and like I said, we'll be on the lookout for those takeaways that you, our listener, can apply in your own endeavors. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's rewind all the way back to the beginning.
Back to the start, yeah. So
Yep.
James Stephen Donaldson was born on May 7th, 1998 in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh.
Middle child of 3 siblings, and his parents both served in the U.S. military.
Wow, okay.
And his mom, Susan Perisher, had a super demanding career. I mean, we're
Wow.
talking roles like a military prison warden in Germany and Fort Leavenworth.
Wow, that is demanding.
It is, and it sounds like she was working really long hours a lot of the time.
Right, and so with that kind of demanding career, it makes sense that au pairs played a big role in his upbringing, early on.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it sounds like they moved a few times in those early years, 3 times before he even turned 7.
Wow.
And then later in 2007, his parents divorced. And what's interesting is he's not in contact with his father these days.
Right.
And his mother's spoken about experiencing abuse during their marriage. So, it gives us a little bit of a glimpse into that family environment. But he spent a lot of his childhood in Greenville, North Carolina. But he said his memories before like 11 years old aren't super clear.
Which is so interesting, right? Because you think about those early life experiences, even the ones we don't fully remember, they can shape who we become.
Totally.
And later on, we see how some events in his life really did play a direct role.
Hmm.
So, he was into sports, baseball, basketball, but that changed when he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at 15. And that's a condition that can cause a lot of fatigue,
Yeah,
and requires a pretty specific diet, which obviously impacts your ability to do those things.
for sure. That's tough for any teenager.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to think how that shift might have, opened up other things for him.
Yeah, maybe.
He graduated from Greenville Christian Academy in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and then he went to East Carolina University for a tiny bit of time, like 2 weeks,
2 weeks. Right.
dropped out. Understandably, that didn't sit well with his mother,
Right.
which led to her asking him to leave home.
That feels like a real turning point, right?
Yeah.
You've got this young guy making this deliberate choice to go his own way, to pursue something non-traditional. But what's so interesting to me is how early and how intensely he was drawn to online video.
Yeah.
Like, he was interested from age 11, and he actually talks about this moment when one of his favorite YouTubers announced they were going full-time.
Wow.
And it's like, that planted a seed.
And that seed grew quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because he launched his first YouTube channel in 2012,
He was 13.
13 years old.
Unreal.
It is, and he started with the name MrBeast 6000
I remember that.
because Mr. Beast was already taken.
We
Yeah, and that name obviously has evolved since then.
Yeah.
But his early content was way different than the huge stunts he does now. He was doing gaming stuff. Minecraft, Call of Duty were huge back then.
Yeah, big time.
And he also did commentary on other YouTubers.
Right, that's like the classic starting point for a lot of creators, right? You kind of gravitate towards what you know and what's already working.
Yeah. But there were hints even then of what he would become. He mentioned that one of his very first videos from when he was just 11 was of a game called Battle Pirate.
Battle Pirate, okay.
And somehow it got 20,000 views.
Wow.
And he said that was what hooked him. It showed him what was possible.
That early success, it's huge, right?
It is. And it's important to remember he was working with the most basic tools back then. His brother's old laptop didn't even have a real microphone at first.
Right.
And whatever little money he made, he put right back into equipment.
That shows commitment for sure.
Yeah, even then he was thinking ahead.
Totally. And investing in his future, even though it probably seemed really uncertain back then.
Right.
And, you know, that tension with his mother's expectations for him, it's a key part of the story here. She really valued education, right? Going to college.
Traditional path, yeah.
Which he clearly wasn't into. And there's that story about him trying to juggle YouTube and community college.
Oh, yeah.
Pretending to go to class, but really working on videos in his car.
Yeah.
And, you know, flunking his classes.
Street zeros.
And then she gave him that ultimatum, right? Studies or YouTube. And he chose to leave home to pursue YouTube. I mean, that's a bold move.
He really bet on himself and his vision, even when it went against, what most people expected of him.
So how did this passion and those early experiments turn into the global phenomenon that MrBeast is today? It wasn't like he just flipped a switch from gaming to viral stunts, right?
It was a gradual evolution. So gaming was his main thing until he was around 18. But he started experimenting with these more unusual attention-grabbing ideas.
Right.
Like reading the dictionary or counting to 100,000, which if you think about it is incredibly time-consuming.
It took him like 40 hours.
40 hours. And that video became his first really viral hit in January of 2017.
Wow.
And it helped him pass that 1 million subscriber mark.
That's such a big moment for any creator. So he realizes that if I do interesting things, people will watch. It seems so simple. But he was one of the first to really figure that out and push the boundaries of what interesting could be online.
Yeah. And then there's his first brand deal for $10,000. Instead of just pocketing it, he used that money to help someone experiencing homelessness. And that became his second trending video.
Right, which is so smart because it set a precedent for the kind of content that his audience would respond to.
Yeah, it was entertaining, but also unexpectedly generous.
Exactly. And he kept going down that road, creating these unusual, challenging, and entertaining videos, giveaways, gifts, food stunts, you name it. But it wasn't just about trying random stuff. He and his friends did what he called intense self-study. Like, they were determined to crack the code of going viral.
This self-study period is so fascinating to me. They were dissecting popular videos, figuring out what worked. They looked at everything from editing techniques to how to come up with great ideas, how to actually go viral and trend, how to spot new topics, what made a good video and thumbnail. They even had daily video meetings for over 1,000 days. Like, they were really serious about it.
Wow, 1,000 days. That's commitment.
It is. And it's clear that his success is not an accident. It's built on a foundation of really analyzing data and experimenting. And during this time, they came up with what's been called the MrBeast business model, which is basically using the money from your videos to fund even bigger and more attention-grabbing videos in the future.
Like a snowball effect, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
The more successful a video is, the more money he has to make the next one even crazier, which leads to more views, more money, and so on. And that's led to the mind-blowing stunts and crazy cash giveaways that he's known for.
Like recreating Squid Game with a $456,000 prize?
Crazy.
Or like tying up an FBI agent?
Of course, in a fake way.
Obviously, yeah. Or crashing a train into a giant pit or surviving in Antarctica.
Or a $1 million game of hide and seek. He said he spent like $4 or $5 million on a single video sometimes. It's just unreal, the scale of what he does.
Totally. And let's not forget his friends, the Beast Gang. They're always there in the videos, which makes it feel more relatable and familiar, even with these crazy things happening.
Yeah. He often dresses in regular clothes. He's just hanging out with his friends.
Makes him seem more approachable.
Yeah, exactly. Even though he's giving away millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And a lot of his videos are about giving people experiences that they would never have otherwise, like staying in $1 million hotel room.
That's a good point.
And you can see how his gaming background really helped him tap into these online communities and trends.
Sure.
He clearly understands how the YouTube algorithm works after years of experimenting and analyzing data. He knows what makes people click, what keeps them watching. He uses numbers a lot and these high-stakes challenges to keep people engaged. And he always tries to hook the viewer in the first minute of the video.
That's so key.
It is, and the production quality is always top-notch. He says he wants to make the best videos on the planet. And I think that contributes to his success too. So he went from being this kid who was obsessed with YouTube to building a full-blown media empire. How do you do that? It's got to be more than just making good videos.
Right, so consistency is huge. Uploading new videos regularly is key to staying relevant on YouTube because things move so fast.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the content itself has to be engaging, like we've been talking about. But understanding the algorithm, like really understanding it, is what allows him to grow so quickly.
That and reinvesting all his earnings back into making even better content. It's like this upward spiral.
It is. And it's not just the main MrBeast channel anymore either. He's got a whole network of channels now.
Right?
Beast Philanthropy, gaming channels. All together, they have over 250 million followers. That's insane.
It is, and he's not just making English content anymore either. His videos are dubbed into other languages like Spanish and Portuguese.
Oh, wow.
And he's got plans for Japanese with a famous anime voice actor.
Yeah.
Apparently this all started about 6 months ago, and the growth of those international channels has been incredible.
That's smart.
It is. And did you know that the Spanish dubbing is done by the guy who voices Spider-Man in Spanish?
Oh, that's cool.
I know, right? And they're super careful about the quality of the dubbing. They have multiple transcriptions to make sure it's accurate.
That's impressive attention to detail.
It is. So he's not just making content for everyone. He's making it specifically for different cultures.
Yeah, he's really thinking globally.
He is. And it's not just YouTube anymore either. He's got businesses now like MrBeast Burger.
Oh, yeah, that delivery-only restaurant chain.
That made over $100 million in the first 7 months.
Unreal.
They even opened their first real restaurant in September of 2022.
I saw that.
It's crazy how popular his brand is, but he's actually suing the company that runs it right now because he's not happy with the quality of the food.
Really?
Yeah, which shows you how important it is to him to keep his brand image strong even when he's not directly involved. Then there's Feastables, his snack brand. They make gluten-free chocolate bars that you can find in stores now. And he also had this thing called Lunchly for a while. It's a packaged lunch for kids that he did with Logan Paul.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But it had some quality issues.
Right.
So that didn't last long. He's also got a MrBeast channel on Roku now. So he's branching out beyond YouTube too.
Yeah, definitely. And the crazy thing is he reinvests almost all the money he makes back into his videos.
Like every penny, he says.
Even though he reportedly earns like $600 to $700 million a year, most of it goes right back into making bigger and better videos.
I know, it's crazy, right?
It is. And his company is valued at around $1.5 billion as of October 2022. And he's got the Guinness World Record for the highest earning YouTuber. He made $54 million in 2021, according to Forbes.
Yeah.
And he works out of this massive studio complex near Greenville. It's 100 acres of land with multiple warehouses. It's like a content creation factory.
Wow.
And now he's partnering with his old school East Carolina University to start a program for content creators.
Oh, wow.
And he even taught a class at Harvard Business School.
I know. He went from dropping out of college to teaching at Harvard. It is. And it's not just business and education either. He was named one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people. So clearly he's having a huge impact on the world.
Definitely. And beyond all the entertainment and the business success, philanthropy is becoming a really important part of the MrBeast brand.
Totally. Those big giveaways and acts of charity are often the centerpieces of his most popular videos.
Right. And he started Beast Philanthropy, which is a nonprofit organization. They want to use social media to promote good causes and encourage a whole generation to be more caring.
So it's not just about giving money away, it's about making kindness go viral.
Exactly. And they focus on community projects that make a real difference. And they also educate people about important issues and try to inspire generosity and empathy. And it's important to note that all the money that Beast Philanthropy makes on YouTube, including merch sales, goes directly to their charitable work.
And the numbers are pretty impressive. As of March 2025, they've delivered over 43.5 million pounds of food. That's over 36.2 million meals, and they've helped feed over 5.4 million people.
Yeah.
Those are big numbers that make a real impact.
Yeah, huge impact. And some of his philanthropic videos are just incredible, like paying for cataract surgery for 1,000 blind people to give them back their sight.
Wow.
Or buying prosthetic limbs for 2,000 amputees so they can walk again.
Amazing.
And he's building 100 wells in Africa to provide clean water for up to 500,000 people.
That's incredible.
And then there's the environmental stuff, like planting 20 million trees and cleaning plastic out of the ocean. And then there's those smaller acts of kindness, too, like donating clothes to people in need, or giving $10,000 to a homeless
So
person.
much good.
It is, and it's all part of this bigger message of using his platform to make a positive impact on the world. So when we look back at his journey, what are the key takeaways? What can our listeners learn from MrBeast's success?
I think there are a few big ones. First, you got to figure out what your unique success factor is.
Yeah,
For MrBeast, it was making these unusual, entertaining, and often really emotional videos that people couldn't stop watching. Second, you got to start with what you have.
right.
He started with basic equipment and upgraded as he went along. And third, you got to be able to spot trends early on like he did with gaming.
Totally. And it's about being different and following your passion. His crazy video ideas were what made him stand out. And his persistence, his dedication to YouTube, even when it wasn't popular, is a huge part of why he's successful. He didn't follow the traditional path.
Right.
And he's been doing this for over a decade. It's incredible.
And don't underestimate the power of collaboration.
Oh, yeah.
His friends were a big part of his journey. They helped him learn. They bounced ideas off each other. And he's always innovating, not just with his videos, but with his businesses too. And his story shows how social media can be used for good. It's not just about entertainment or making money. It can actually make the world a better place.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he's super focused on making content that people love. That's the key to his success.
For sure.
And his story proves that passion, hard work, learning from data, and being willing to adapt can help you achieve amazing things, even if you don't have all the advantages.
Absolutely. So what makes MrBeast's story so relevant today?
I think he shows us how powerful the internet is. Anyone can build a huge audience and a successful business if they have the right ideas and the right approach.
Mm.
And he's changing the way we think about philanthropy. He's using his platform to do a lot of good in the world. And he's always willing to reinvest in his vision and make things better. That's a valuable lesson for anyone.
Yeah. And here's a thought for you to consider. MrBeast has built this empire by giving away huge amounts of money and resources. What does that tell us about human nature? Why do we love watching these videos? Is it just for the entertainment, or is there something deeper going on? Do we actually want to see good things happen in the world?
It's an interesting question for sure.
Yeah, and I think MrBeast's story is a powerful reminder that creativity and generosity can go hand in hand in this digital age. And speaking of people who have changed their industries with vision and hard work, in our next deep dive, we'll be exploring the incredible story of Rich Paul. This guy defied the odds to build a major sports agency and empower athletes. You won't want to miss how he turned his vision into a legacy. Let us know what you think. What part of MrBeast's story resonated with you the most? Leave a comment below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories.
And don't forget to tune in next time for the story of Rich Paul.
It's going to be good.